What's up? Earl Skakel in the building. I just got back from the gym. It's a little nippy right now. I didn't even shower because I wanted to start on time, be a professional. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, Ambrose. I mean, I'm a soldier, Ambrose. I'm a soldier. Hello, Spurg, Rhino, Night Mouse. We're going to finish the watching of Predator. And then, we'll break off into crosstalk and all kinds of good stuff. For those of you asking, I've had a few people DM me. I had a very good set last night at the Comedy Store, late night, and actually had a member of the Dabbleverse who chooses to remain anonymous, but it was a female, was in the building, and she saw a great show. I brought up Brian Holtzman, the legend of late night at the Comedy Store, and a good time was had by all. I know there are female members in the Dabbleverse world. Not many, but there are some. And until you can come see me yourself, live and in person at the Comedy Store, I don't know if it's the Earl verse yet. I mean, I got to get at least 100 people in chat, for it to become a verse. But I did hit my all-time high on a Sunday night when I think I had 40 people in chat. Let me just check the internet, make sure it's at full power. We're back. I'm fully juiced, so hopefully that works out for everyone. I do have lawyers. Well, I mean, hello, Grimace and Pain. Pew, pew. I think I just followed you back on Instagram. But until you guys can come see me live, I am releasing reels of the 45-minute set that the Comedy Store had me take down, unfortunately. So, releasing like one joke a day. I think I have 20 usable clips, and I just released one a few hours ago. And so hopefully that gives you an idea of what I am about. Tracy Carnazzo in the house. I can't believe I was calling Tracy Camazzo. Eddie Van Halen, the GOAT of guitars. Well, it really depends. I'm borderline dyslexic in my defense. In terms of Van Halen, that's a tough one. I mean, he's certainly probably the greatest of my generation. I would say the top 5 guitar players since I've been alive is Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and then obviously you have Jimi Hendrix. But since I'm an 80s guy, some of my favorite guitar players, I'm not saying they're necessarily the greatest guitar players. Yes, Beloved Chatter is a champion. I'm just waiting for a vaping Dago. Since I'm an '80s guy, some of my favorite guitar players, not necessarily the greatest of all time, but just ones I like, is the great Jake E. Lee from early Rat. He was in like I think the first version of Rat, and then he went to join, I believe, Rough Cut, and then Ozzy Osbourne. Um, Warren D. Martini from Rats. Um, let me see who else. I mean, Steve Vai. I mean, the Eddie Trunk rules. I don't know about that, but I mean, Dave Mustaine's great. Chris Holmes, he was good for Wasp. I don't know if you would put him in any all-time great guitar list. I like Sammy Hagar, to be honest with you. His song "Give to Live." I've been really into that lately. Dio's great. I mean, it's Vivian Campbell from Dio is a great guitar player. Um, yes, Jake E. Lee. The problem with Badlands was Kirk Hammett's great. I mean, he's a little. Kirk Hammett's kind of like Ace Frehley. He's not the greatest technical guitar player, but he's very good, and he's in a gigantic band. Um, Badlands was a great band. I mean, of course, Ray Gillen. Badlands was a great band. I mean, of course, Ray Gillen was a piece of shit as a person, the singer, because he was knowingly infecting women with HIV. Um, uh, oh, I don't know him as a person. I mean, I've heard Tracy that he's actually a nice guy, but Ray Gillen could sing like nobody's business. I mean, my ex-girlfriend, who still to this day manages Motorhead, told me that Ray Gillen could sing you the phone book and it would sound good. Peter, Chicken Man Brennan, the Chicken Man. That's my one of my favorite characters from Sons of Anarchy. Tommy is a great guitar player. Red Beach is from Winger and the last Twisted Sister album. I mean, he's a guy who gets shit on because he was in Winger. But you put Red Beach in a room with Van Halen or Randy Rhoads, like in a virtual room, he could play anything they could play. Ben Jones, Big Ben Jones. Why don't you like Hagar? I mean, I love. Yes, Robin Crosby, one of my favorites. Um, Guitar players. A funny, not funny story, but a great story is right there. You can barely see that frame, but that's where I had a framed Robin Crosby picture, and it's Robin Crosby in his absolute physical prime. And I had Tawny Katane on the podcast. We do a very lovely interview. Tawny gets up to leave. She looks up there and sees it, and she starts crying. So I gave it to her. And I do have a picture I will post later to show that picture of Tawny and I holding um, the framed picture. Of course, when she died, I wanted to call her daughter and say, "Hey, can I get that picture back?" Um, no, my ex is a girl named Shelly B. She is one of the managers of Motorhead, along with Todd Singerman from Singerman Entertainment. And she, I think, used to book Jake E. Lee. She might have booked Badlands. She was like a big booker on the Sunset Strip. The management company of Motorhead is Todd Singerman, and then Shelley was his I don't know if you'd say co-manager, but she was basically the assistant manager, and she had worked for the Osbournes. And a funny Jake E. Lee story is when she got hired by the Osbournes, her first job was to go in the office and cut Jake E. Lee out of all the pictures. Because Jake E. Lee was like, "Hey, man, I've literally wrote the last two albums, and I'm not getting paid, really." I think he signed his publishing to the Osbournes under duress, and, and then they did the tribute album, the live tribute album with Randy Rhoads, and I think he was like, "Hey, man, I'm the guitar player in the band now." And I'm sure he was like, "Let's do a live album with me." If you've seen the Ozzy, Salt Lake, if you really want a good representation of what Jake E. Lee was capable of, go on YouTube, Salt Lake City, 1984. It was an MTV concert, about an hour and maybe it's not that long. It's about an hour and a half, maybe even less. And that's Jake E. Lee at his guitar playing prime. I never met a girl named Kim in the Motorhead camp. There was Todd Shelley and Hobbsy, the legendary sound man. Um, so yeah, Michael Anthony background vocals. You could still hear them when Van Halen was touring with Wolfie. I remember when I saw Van Halen and at the Staples Center with Kool and the Gang as the opening act, and they killed it, man. Apparently, David Lee Roth was a big Kool and the Gang fan, and the rest of the band wasn't. So they were like, "If you want to have Kool and the Gang be the opener, you pay for it," and he did. And I've never seen an opening act go over so well. I mean, the whole stadium was dancing. Because you Kool and the Gang's one of those bands that you kind of forget how many hits they have. It's Johanna, Celebration, Get Down on It. And I don't know how many of them were original members. There seemed to be about 10 to 12 guys on stage. I would guess. I think the bass player, they seem to be letting him lead, so I'll assume he's an OG guy. But Brett Muscat from Faster Pussycat. I knew Tammy Down, not well. We ran in the same circuit on the Sunset Strip. So um, Dr. Nova loved the dulcet tones of the Daddy Man on a Sunday night. Thank you. Yes, my voice. Oh shit, Renee Lancaster, legend. This guy's a real who's who at the Comedy Store. If you're ever at the Comedy Store, Renee Lancaster is a very funny Los Angeles comedian and a fantastic guitar player. That was in their dark days. I remember seeing Faster Pussycat at the first Rocklahoma, 2007. Because me and my friend Chris thought, let's go to the first one because all the bands like Faster Pussycat, Rat, Twisted Sister, Vince Neil, bands of that nature. I think Y&T was there, Black and Blue maybe. Um, they'd be appreciative of being in front of a crowd again, and exactly that happened. You could tell they were all psyched on, "Hey, man, we're in front of 30, 40,000 people." Now, the funny thing was it was so crowded and the lines for the toilet were brutal, so it was festival seating, but everyone was cool, so you would basically just sit where you sat the day before, and I didn't wanna wait in line and miss any of the bands, so I would literally just whip out my dick and piss where I was sitting. And so finally, the 3rd day, we sat behind this heavy-set dude and his kid, and he turns around to me and goes, "Hey, man, am I crazy or why does it smell like piss around here?" I'm like, "I have no idea." "Hello." Well, that was a time for most bands, from the '80s to just 2000s, like, you know, grunge came and then boy bands came and then, like bands like The Killers and, Lit, and, Third Eye Blind, all those bands, it just, it was a wrong time to be in the '80s genre. But, the good ones survived, to be honest with you. KK Downing, Glenn Tempton. Yeah, I mean, those are two other guys, I mean, they are great guitar players. Dave Smith from Iron Maiden. a great guitar player. I'm not a fan of Debbie Gibson, but my favorite boy band of all time is the Click Five. I remember I was doing a radio show on a Sunday night, ironically enough, and my friend Byron was like the number one morning DJ in Australia. That's where he did the show out of in Burbank, in the Warner Brothers building. So I remember driving by, and the whole side of the building was this band called the Click Five and their album Greetings from Emery House. And I remember going up there and I said, "Hey, who's that band on the side of the building?" I mean, this is a huge building. It's like a 10-story building. And so I'm like, "Oh, somebody likes these guys." And he's like, "Oh, they have that song, Just the Girl." I'm like, "Oh, I've never heard of it." And he plays it. And man, I was hooked ever since. They were really good. And like all musicians, like they were like the Backstreet Boys of instruments. I mean, everyone knows that song, Just the Girl. She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. She pushed me in the pool at a last school reunion. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. She laughs at my dreams, but I dream about her laughter. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Here comes the high note. Strange as it seems, she's the one I'm after. And I don't know if I could play that song on these streams. I don't want my stream taken down. No, not Dave Smith from Legion of Skanks. Dave Smith from Iron Maiden. Uh, I mean, yeah, Vinnie Vincent's out of control. But the Click Five also wrote a song with Paul Stanley from Kiss, "The Angel in You." Vinny was good for that time frame and a great songwriter. You're the only person I've heard that mentioned this boy band. I'm telling you, look up the Click Five. Can I play a song from them on my Spotify, or will that get my channel struck? Someone, please help me out. Can I play like 15 seconds? Let me cue it up here. 15 sec. Someone told me you can play 15 seconds. I don't know who Nerf Herder is. Hold on. I'll play 10 seconds. Can I get struck? Tracy, you're like big in the podcast world. Can my channel get struck? Can I play 10 seconds of a song? Maybe 5 seconds. I know. I mean, Vinnie Vincent is, Click Five. She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing. That is a great band. Well, I know Ari Shafir, he plays like full songs, but he's a rogue operator. Um, so William Zoom in the house. Kevin Brennan might be stream sniping me as we speak. Um, but check out the Click Five. They had the big song "Just the Girl," and then they had a really good song with a different singer, Jenny. Um, Kyle Patrick was the singer on that one. Eric Dill was the first singer, and he had such a distinct voice that Kyle Patrick's voice was a lot deeper. So it just, they never really gained momentum. But a great band. I mean, they literally they were like the Cars, like a younger version of the Cars. That's my um, obscure music group of the day. And maybe one of the greatest birthday presents Christmas presents I've ever got was from my ex Chandler when she got me. She somehow knew the Click Five's manager because he manages like a big band now, like Pink or something. And she got me a Click Five T-shirt autographed. Now it wasn't with the OG singer Eric Dill; it was with Patrick. But I'll take it. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, was Kiss the Demon your favorite wrestler? That was Dale Torborg, I think. Not really, to be honest with you. That was the Kiss Demon was in the dark, uh, times of WCW. Ace Frehley's solo album is the best of the 4 solo albums. Um, Here's how I break down the Kiss solo albums. Paul Stanley's was the most Kiss-like. Like, you could put any song on Paul Stanley's solo album on a Kiss record. Gene's was just him showing what celebrities he knew. Hey, I have Joe Perry from Aerosmith on guitar. I have Helen Reddy. I have Katie Seagal. I think Aces was the truest album to himself. And, New York Groove was a big hit, although not an original Ace Frehley song. And then I take that back. I think Peter Criss's album was the most truest to the artist. The jazz influence, but Kiss fans, I don't think are jazz fans. So I think Peter's was the poorest selling. Was Chris Benoit my favorite wrestler? No, but we know his finisher worked. All I gotta say is, where was the Kids' tag team partner? Hello. There's some great. A lot of people ask me about conspiracy theories, JFK and 9/11. You can really go down a rabbit hole on Chris Benoit conspiracy theories on YouTube. There's a lot of people who don't think he killed his family. Gene Simmons was great. He was good in the movie Runaway, but my favorite Gene Simmons movie, and there are a few good ones. He was, I believe, a little miscast in this one, but I believe he was a surf guru, and I believe it was George Clooney's first movie, Red Surf. He didn't really look like a surf guru. Um, but I love Gene Simmons and the Wanted Dead or Alive movie starring Rucker Hauer, Robert Guillaume, and a couple other, character actors. William Russ, I believe, um, from Miami Vice and Crime Story. Um, he wasn't in it that much, but it was he played like a Bin Laden like figure. And Wanted Dead or Alive was kind of even a sequel, but to the Steve McQueen bounty hunter film. Um, so Nick Randall, he was Rucker Hauer was playing the bounty hunter Nick Randall. A very good movie. Didn't do that well, which is surprising. 1987 was a tough year to do a low budget or a lower budget action movie when you had, like, I think Predator was in theaters in 87, Lethal Weapon was about to hit, Die Hard was about to hit. So it kind of got lost in the sauce. But if you want, and I don't even know if it's on streaming right now. Um, but Wanted Dead or Alive, a very good Gene Simmons movie. I saw Pantera with Metallica a couple months ago. Yes, Tommy Lee wasn't a good action movie. Hello, I mean, he was the camera guy, the boom mic operator. Got the fuck Pam Anderson. I mean, he's talented. He's a complete momo, but he's talented. See, I don't know anything about Nerf Herder, so that's why I'm a little quiet right now. All right, so I'm gonna start Predator. We're now, for those of you watching with us, you don't have to send me a clip, and I'll give it a listen. Maybe I've heard of them, So I'm gonna start Predator right now. We're at the hour and 9-minute mark of the movie Predator. I think there's about a half hour left. So if you're watching along, I'll give you 2 minutes to get to the hour and 9-minute mark. I do love Home Sweet Home. I mean, Vince Neil, when he was motivated to sing, could sing. I have to, Tracy. That's the whole point of the stream tonight, is to finish the movie Predator. No, no, no. That's a good Kiss song off of Crazy Nights. That's when Kiss was trying to sound like Bon Jovi. But I see the original singer walking the Sunset Strip every night. His name is Odin. He was the guy they fired for wearing white gloves. and he does karaoke, I think, on Monday nights at a bar right by my house. And sometimes when I walk the dog, I walk Lois up there so I can hear him sing. He's got a really good voice still. He's completely crazy. And just another example of what the business does to people. The last time I saw him was at Mel's Diner, which is in the bathroom when I walked in telling these two foreigners that he was the singer in Motley Crue. And it's like, uh, wait, Predator 2 shootout right after. Shout out. I'm sorry. I didn't like Predator 2, but the problem with Predator 2 was the hello C2. It just didn't have the cast of the first one. That first cast was so good that Earl got me shouting hello to my buddy when I'm drunk talking to him on the phone. Him and my neighbors think I'm a total piazza. That's fine if you are. We accept all forms of sexual creeds and religions in this chat room. We are not a Dabbleverse free chat, but we, we uh, doing a live watch to is the Jean Claude Van Damme movie Bloodsport. Yes, Gene Simmons on Miami Vice in the Prodigal Son. It was a two-parter when not Kiss, when Crockett and Tubbs go to New York, and at the bequest of Gene Simmons, telling them to meet Penn from Penn and Teller, who was a big drug dealer, Newton Blade, and I'm forgetting. I think Penn's name was Jimmy Borges. Um, so it's a great episode. I mean, those first two seasons of Miami Vice, very good television. I mean, that's when Michael Mann was invested in the show. You are not a Tanaka. The wrestler Mike Awesome used to wrestle in ECW. Oh yeah, no, you're talking Bloodsport. Sorry, my bad. The dim mock. He had to do the dim mock. You sure on that? Oh, Teller was, yeah, Penn. But I'm trying to think of Penn's name in Miami Vice. I believe it was Jimmy Borges. Um, and then Miami Vice tended to lose its way after. This is what I love. This is why I like honest people. John Deal, who played Larry Zito on Miami Vice, he went to Michael Mann and said, "I want to do theater. I want to do like independent films. I want to be." Um, I don't want to be on the show anymore. And so they killed him off, but his favorite sport was boxing, so they made it boxing related. It's a two-part episode, but obviously he gets killed in the first the first part. A great two-part episode. I actually was lucky enough to interview legendary Hispanic character actor Pepe Serna. Also in that episode, my favorite boxer of all time, Randall Tex Cobb, and a guy. This is only if you're really into Miami Vice. I believe he was a karate expert. I believe it was SS. He played four different characters in Miami Vice, and I don't think he had a speaking line in any of them. He was just the badass Cuban-looking guy with a mustache, and he killed Tex Cobb. But when Zito left, I think Switek didn't have someone to play off of as much. And then I would say episodes. I bet you are, Tracy. Hello. Seasons 4 and 5 were hit or miss. Of course, I always like the episodes with Izzy in them. But even I think it was season 4, Izzy was in an episode called Miracle Man. And that's, looking back, it doesn't really hold up. But, Michael Mann had moved on to go to start doing Crime Story. I will check out Nerf Herder at the conclusion of this episode. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, Miami Vice is actually a very dark show if you think about it. Yes, the neon colors and the music, we all get into that, and but when you think about it, Crockett was like, the divorced womanizer who still loved his wife. Tubbs was never the same after the death of his brother. Switek was an alcoholic gambler. Zito was a loner. They never really fully explained, Castillo's black bag operations in Nam. Gina and Trudy were, had their own personal problems. So it wasn't just a hippy dippy, happy go lucky show. There was a lot of layers of darkness into that show. But I think when Zito left, it just, I don't know, something was missing. Still some very good episodes. I mean, I would say my top three Miami Vice episodes are Prodigal Son. It's a great two-part episode. The Death of Zito, great two-part episode. And a kind of an off the grid choice. Well, I'll say two more. Lend Me an Ear, season three, where John Glover, my favorite actor of all time, plays a bug surveillance man. And then at the end of the episode, Switek and Don Johnson flip the script on him and they start surveilling him. One of my favorite endings ever. If you ever see the episode Lend Me an Ear with John Glover, it's a great episode. And Out Where the Buses Run with the great character, maybe the greatest character actor of all time, Bruce McGill. Now, here's a little trivia for you. If you go to iTunes, so I guess it's Apple Podcasts now, Bruce McGill played the character Out Where the Buses Run. Another great ending. And the very first review for my podcast was me under a pseudonym, Hank Weldon. I mean, Pepe Serna was, I mean, his IMDb page is, unbelievable. I will check it out, Tracy. Yeah, I mean, Crockett was a dark character. Pepe Serna, I mean, he's been in everything. And a really funny interview. Remember the Miami Vice episode, The Fruit of the Poison Tree with Tony Sirico from The Sopranos. Yeah, I mean, they had so many good episodes early on. I mean, now maybe none of you know this, but my parents moved to Miami in 1988, and they lived at 1525 Northview Road, Sunset Island. There's three Sunset Islands, and I'm watching an episode with Esai Morales where he plays a home invader, and in the episode, in one scene, he's in a car in my parents' driveway, surveilling the house. So, oh, I mean, the pilot of Miami Vice is, I mean, that was basically a 2-hour movie. Um, yeah, I mean, the Golden Triangle, that's one of my favorite episodes as well. And the opening scene was great when John Santucci, who Michael Mann loved using in his films and other TV shows. The funny thing is, he was a real life jewel thief. And in the Michael Mann movie Heat, no, I'm sorry, Thief, he played a dirty cop, but James Caan actually was using John Santucci's real life jewel thief tools, which led to the authenticity of it. And Dennis Farina, who was also a cop in a dirty cop and thief, um, in real life arrested John Santucci because he was a Chicago beat cop. So that's why I love Michael Mann. I can't wait to see Ferrari because he always uses the same people. Um, the Bruce Willis episode. I mean, there's a lot of good episodes. Yeah, I mean, when you're in Chips, you've been acting a long time. Now, I don't want to snipe DeVito. Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm with you on there, William. Tracy, just I know all you guys are babies to me. Yeah, we might do a Miami Vice watch along. I mean, what could be good? And this is a this could something like this could get the stream, going is watching Miami Vice from beginning to end. Now that's 5 seasons. I think there were about 20 episodes a season. So, maybe, or maybe, and then do a crime story watch along. Um, yeah, I bet you do love Dirty Cops. Farina was great. I met him at some wedding, and he was really nice. I was also an usher at Good Shepherd Church, and one time he came in, and I'd collect the money at the end. I'd hold out the little collection plate, and he put in like 100 one day. I'm like, "Hey, thanks a lot, Mr. Lombard." And he looks at me and goes, "My name's Dennis Farina." I'm like, "To me, you're Al Lombard." And he kind of like looks at me like, "Huh?" I'm like, Miami Vice, come on, dude. Um, little trivia for Miami Vice: two different actors played his son in the movie. In the first episode he was in, Al Lombard, the Cuban kid from New York Undercover, played his son. And then for some reason, in the second episode, a couple seasons later, he was in, Tim Quill, who was a very good actor. He played it. So I'm not sure. Maybe the Cuban kid from New York Undercover was unavailable or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, I know on DirecTV there was, I think it wasn't Axis, but one uh, network was showing all the episodes. So I don't think he invented Farina cereal, Tracy. Um, so- yeah, I mean, striking distance to me was just too close to Die Hard, so I never really liked it. But I'm interested in the Ferrari movie because I want to see what character actors Michael Mann brings back. I mean, like I could see Michael Mann using Izzy in that from Miami Vice and Crime Story, and Izzy was the guy. If you remember this very small scene in Heat when Val Kilmer buys the munitions, Izzy was the guy he bought it from. So it was a small part, but I mean, yeah, no, I mean, it's not that Striking Distance was a bad movie. It just, I don't know, it's just too close to Die Hard. I think it was like 91, 92, and I think it was right after Die Hard 2, I think. Um, I did not know that, same Angel. I mean, I'm a big, big Miami Vice guy, and I understand why Michael Mann, he wanted to do Crime Story, which Crime Story is one of the great two-season shows you'll ever see. It just was so good. But I think ultimately, it's where Dice Clay kind of got his start in acting. I mean, he was in other things before Crime Story, but I think Crime Story was the first big, um, like national exposure he got. And if you look at some of the other actors in Crime Story, David Caruso, the great character actor John Polito. What up, Jose? No, no, I'm just caught a little drive-in dust. Um, Dice. Who else? The Inappropriate Earl alumni, Jenny Wright, Kevin Spacey, many, many. I think Julia Roberts was in it as well. She was also in Miami Vice. Ted Levine, who most people know as Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. I think you have a dry throat. I got to get my drink. Hold on. Lean and mean. So if you have a chance to, I don't know. Story used to be on Amazon. Well, Pam I Am, I think, she was scared to be around 9 dudes in the jungle. I mean, if you watch the movie Predator, that girl probably felt like, any girl at an open mic in LA or New York. "Hello." I'm getting the feeling that no one wants to finish the movie Predator, so I might just delete it off my, uh, queue here. Big swinging hog, ba ma ma ma, pew pew. Are you talking about me or you? You can't go wrong, with Ted Levine. I mean, but the Crime Story, he was, like a he was the humor, guy in Crime Story along with John Santucci, and, Anthony Dennison, who played the great Ray Luca, um, he was awesome. I remember once I let David Caruso work out for free at the gym I was at. This gym was in Santa Monica, and I think there was a studio nearby because a lot of actors would come in there late night, like Michael Pare from Streets of Fire, and David Caruso and he goes, okay." Well, I guarantee you if me and Tracy went on a date, she wouldn't call you after the date because the date would be going for a long time. Um, and I have it ready to go on a different screen than you are currently on. Well, I don't know about all night. I am 55, but I'm honest. Um, well, I was going to watch the end of it with you guys, but I think the problem was when we were watching it, people were really into it. Uh, 55. Yeah, I mean, St. Ranger, I don't know about you, but whenever I get a call for a booty call from a woman, I'm like, hey, everything still works, but it works a lot better earlier. I mean, Dennis Farina is like almost like the poor man's Gene Hackman. Good. He's just good in anything. Like, I can't think of a single thing I saw him in where he was bad. And like even in L.A. Law, he was in Law and Order. I mean, he was not Tracy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna start Predator. Um, it is Prime. I'm not a fan of the Paul brothers and some of their shenanigans off stage. I believe Logan Paul was accused of something by a TikTok star. I hope it's not true, but I love snow cone flavor. Prime. They are not sponsors of me. I mean, you could put Dennis Farina or Gene Hackman in Porky's 5, and they would be good in it. Um, so, Jack was in Patrick Swayze's first movie. No, maybe The Outsiders was. So maybe his second movie, and Gene Hackman, Tex Cobb, the great Fred Ward, Red Brown. I mean, Michael Dudikoff, but I think his scene was cut. And if you look at some of the behind the scenes people, John Milius, Wings Hauser was a co-producer. The great you want a good recommendation for a B movie. Now it's an 80s movie, so it doesn't necessarily stand up because it is dated, but and Wings Hauser is in like literally hundreds of movies. But check out the 1982 film Vice Squad, where Wings Hauser plays the sadistic pimp Ramrod. Um, I don't even know where you can find that. I don't think it's on any platform. Maybe YouTube. I mean, YouTube has some off the grid um, movies for free. It's very Swamp Thing esque. I mean, basically, not Derek Ramrod. I don't even want to know who that is. But it's a Vice Squad. Um, a great, great character actor. I mean, if you look up Wings Hauser, and his son is Cole Hauser, who was in Dazed and Confused, and I believe he's on what's that Kevin Costner thing, Tombstone. Um, I think he's one of the stars of that, or he was on it. I've never watched an episode of Tombstone, so I don't know if Cole Hauser is still on it, but that's mine. Along with the Click Five being my obscure band reference, the 1982, yeah, Tombstone. I'm thinking of the pizza. Yeah, Yellowstone. Cole Hauser was on early seasons of that show, although I'm not sure if his character is still in it. And my obscure movie recommendation, it might only be on Laserdisc at this point. Vice Squad, directed by Gary Sherman. Okay, thank you, William. Ironically enough, he looks just like his dad, like a younger version. So I tried to get Wings Hauser on the Inappropriate Earl podcast, but I think he lives. No, it's Romalian White in Sicilian Braille. Yeah, he's got more of a tight Jew fro, whereas Wings Hauser's hair was a little more relaxed. Yeah, I mean Frank Langella was awesome in even a stink bomb like Masters of the Universe. Here's the crazy thing about Masters of the Universe. Obviously it's a movie about He-Man and Skeletor, but because Dolph Lundgren wasn't the greatest actor, his act of the universe, a movie about He-Man, they had to basically make it about Skeletor because Frank Langella was, he was a better actor. But I still like watching it. It doesn't hold up that well, but for 1987, it was a big budget. I mean, I remember it was a big deal when that movie came out because this was Dolph Lundgren at the height of his body and his looks, and I mean, he was on the cover of so many magazines back then, and Courtney Cox and a couple other character actors were in it, but it just didn't do very well, unfortunately. Um, but that was the '80s, man. I mean, that's they would just throw so much shit against the wall in terms of the action movies and hope it stuck. And some did, some didn't. I mean, I think right after Masters of the Perfect Weapon came out after that, and that didn't really do well either. I mean, yeah, that movie. I mean, if you and Meg Foster, yes, absolutely. I remember she was like the go-to, like kind of weird looking, but kind of pretty girl with the eyes, and a lot of '80s, late '80s movies. You going up against Ray Guy? I mean, Ray Guy, the punter from the Raiders, is having a stream. Listen, I don't follow when other people go on, and I guess I am going up against Ray, but it's not on purpose. I only really know Kevin Brennan goes on from 1 to 4, so I avoid that time Monday through Friday just because it's out of respect. He's been there, and um, obviously I think Melton goes on from 4 to 8 in the morning. I'm not doing a stream at 4 in the morning, but even if I did, I wouldn't out of respect to Melton. But in regards to going up against Ray, I mean, at some point I got to go on. Like I can't sit there and go, okay, Ray's on. I'll do a stream at midnight my time when there's no one on. Now, I don't think Ray would mind or anyone would mind that I have 17 people listening. I love Enemy of the State. He was very good. Um, I have a. Oh, I would love. I mean, that hat's probably too big. My head's too big to wear that hat, but I would love to. You know, yes, Masters of the Universe. But Masters of the Universe had a budget. Is that a canon film? It definitely seemed like a canon film. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but that's who I am, though. Like, I'm new to the streaming world, Tig. So, uh, I try to avoid people's time slots. Um, I loved Enemy of the State. Great cast, John Boyega film. That's my favorite movie of well. And you talk about a great cast. I mean, John Glover, Clarence Williams III, Anne Margaret, Roy Scheider. Um, there's a great documentary. I saw it on Netflix. Um, because I always wondered why 52 Pickup didn't do better because it's really the same kind of movie as Fatal Attraction, and one was like a huge bonanza hit, and the other was just as good of a yeah, Kelly Preston, and one did do well. And I think arguably 52 Pickup has a better cast. And there's a documentary on Netflix a while back. I think it was on Canon Films. It was something like Electric Boogaloo, like, it was something some weird title like that. Um, and no, it wasn't Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, but it was some weird title, and it explained that Canon Films put no money in to advertising unless it was basically a Chuck Norris movie. What Dr. Nova, are you talking about the Masters of the Universe? Oh, that's one of my favorite endings of a movie when Roy Scheider gives John Glover the keys to the Jaguar, and Roy Scheider says, "Hey, if you're fixing to kill us, there's a lawyer with your fingerprints on my ledger. He'll know what to do if he doesn't hear from me." So John Glover thinks he's in the clear, starts the car, and Roy Scheider rigged the car to blow up. It's so good. I mean, 52 Pickup is it. Now it's very 80s, it's shot very 80s because it was the 80s, but I love that movie so much. And John Glover, like it, and he's still alive. I think he's semi-retired, living with his partner in like Frisco, which that's crazy to me that, and he does a lot of autograph conventions because he was in was he in the Superman show on Channel 5. I think he played no, he didn't play Lex Luthor. He played Lex Luthor's dad or something. Um, okay, cool, Dr. Nova. You going up against Beaumont Bacon? Oh, damn, dude. Peter, the Chicken Man with a Beaumont Bacon reference. Wow. Um, well, I don't think he lives in the city. I want to say he lives in like the hills of Frisco, whatever that. But he's in his 70s now, I think. So I'm sure the autograph convention is easier for him to navigate than a movie 16-hour days. Wait, what were you talking about, Nick? You and Tracy. Um, so I hope I'm not taking away followers from Ray or listeners. But right now it's 8:30 my time. So you guys in the East Coast, Tracy, it's midnight. You're gonna recap this stream. Hello, Tracy. I want to be on your Vanderpump Rules uh, podcast, but I don't think the new season starts till like January 23rd. I was just in Venice yesterday. I saw Max, he was the manager, Tom that got fired off the show for being racist or something. I wanted to say, hey, I loved you on Vanderpump Rules. For some reason, I did not watch Tales from the Crypt. Oh, I can talk about any season. Um, oh wow. Well, hey, listen, I'll take someone reviewing this stream. Jose, I'm sorry, I forgot to answer your question. Earl, who's your favorite UFC fighter right now? I don't really follow UFC anymore. Um, I will say all time. I mean, I liked Overeem. Uh, Now I'm gonna go old school. I also like Paul the Headhunter Bonatello, Tank Abbott. Let's see, Don Fry, Bob Sapp, but he was more of a pride guy. I don't think he actually ever fought in UFC. Mark Hunt. I like the heavyweights, as you can tell. Josh, the babyface assassin Barnett. Uh, wow, Blue Iris. Dr. Nova, are you Peter Brennan and on another account? That's definitely the Chicken Man Brennan reference there. I was in the hospital the day Blue Iris died, and so many people were coming into that hospital room. The nurse goes to me, "Who is this person?" I'm like, "You don't want to know, dude." Ask PJ Stansberry. Hello. Let's see if Brennan gets that reference. I went to a party with the Uriah Hall. He should have been a star. He got famous. He peaked too early, Carnazzo, because he did like a roundhouse kick knockout on the Ultimate Fighter, and just people thought, "Oh, this guy's the next star." And then he just, I don't know why he didn't really pop, but he was up and down, kind of like Sage Northcutt. Sage Northcutt was just like this great looking guy with this chiseled body. I mean, he made me look fat, and he just didn't, it just didn't happen for him. Yeah, I would love to do the Vanderpump Rules podcast with Tracy. I mean, Uriah Hall was great. I mean, but he just didn't. I don't know. I don't know if he didn't have the work ethic or there was something definitely missing. Uh, I mean, he had a great body. But it just didn't happen. Any update on Marcus Molina? That's such a deep cut. I don't even know who that is. I like Terminator when Skynet took over the Air Force. Solid scene. I just bought Ultimate Fighter season one. That's a great. I like the earlier seasons for sure. Did you date him, Tracy? Spill the tea, girl. Yeah, I liked. I mean, the few episodes I saw, Tales from the Crypt, I like Clarence Williams. Yeah, Danny Elfman's music's all right. I'm a Ryan O'Neal Beach Cops fan, so I've heard a lot of stories. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happening with Beach Cops. I don't really follow that world, but I guess they broke up or something. I will be on anything involving Carnazzo. Yes, no doubt about that, William. Uh, I bet you were. Is Boone officially dead? Nobody knows, but I believe he is. When Boone Shakalaka doesn't show up for free food at the Comedy Store Christmas party, he ain't alive. By the way, that was last week. Unbelievable, the freeloaders. So many comics who aren't store people, just in line at the food tables like horses drinking water out of the trough. Um, Freddy Krueger, the great Robert Englund, also star of the movie, well, maybe not star, but Big Wednesday. He was one of the surfers in the movie, and he also did the voiceover work. When it would talk about the North Shore, '68. Hey Earl, is the Comedy Store still popping these days like it was pre-pandemic? I mean, in all honesty, no, it's not, but nothing is. It's still the number one club in the country, I think. Now, full disclosure, I have not played the Mothership yet. I hear that's popping, and Red Band's Club is popping too. I mean, Austin's a good scene. You did some shows at the, yeah, well, yeah, you were on Tim Dillon's shows at the store, but that's a tough question to ask because you have to understand pre-pandemic. And now a lot of people left. You had Rogan leave, Joey Diaz semi-retired in Jersey, Theo moved to Tennessee, Steve Byrne moved to Tennessee, Tim Dillon moved, but like he's back and forth. But like originally he moved, um, and a lot of other headliners. The B team they moved to Austin to suck up to Rogan. So you had like literally 20 people who got regular spots move. But the lineups are still strong, and it's been a good opportunity for me to step into some spots I probably wouldn't be getting if everyone was still here. Did Davey Wester or Adrian, the ex hot waitress, show up to the Xmas party? No, no, they didn't. I did Caroline's when I was 15. I bet you did. Hello. I'd say something else, but I'm on a gag order. Um, okay. Well, tell him I said hello. I mean, we don't talk a lot, but John Little left, but he wasn't really getting spots. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't been. I mean, like, I'm one of my best friends is the booker of the mothership, but I heard through the grapevine you have to get like obviously Rogan, but like he has final approval, and I don't know if he thinks I'm funny or not. I mean, he's never really seen me do stand up, which is crazy because I've known him for 20 years, but it's like the other day when someone asked me if I thought Hinchcliffe was funny, and I said, I've never really seen him do stand up because I don't watch stand up. Um, okay, cool. Uh, that X Files intro, yeah, I love X Files. And Millennium, the spinoff show with the great Lance Henriksen. Uh, Will the Taylor, I'd see. I don't know who that is. Adam is a great man. Well, I know, and I don't think Rogan would say no to me coming, but maybe he would. I don't know. Dude, Night Gallery was a cool show. Oh, Rogan did give you a shout out for being Leather Daddy. Yeah, I mean that shows you the power of Rogan. Every time he mentions my name, just in passing, usually about roast battle or whatever, uh, I get like 100 followers. Like that. So I can only imagine what would happen if I was on it. You wanna see Jeff Ross really uncomfortable is one time he was on Rogan, and Rogan was talking about my battle against, I think it was Jesse Joyce, and I came out like a maniac, half naked, oiled up, and, Rogan's really complimenting me a lot, and Jeff is literally squirming in his seat because he knows he can't say anything negative about me because he knows Joe likes me. And Joe's like, "Yeah, it was just like the great I've been doing comedy for 25 years. I've never seen an entrance like this. It was like Kiss. It was just the greatest entrance." And Jeff is like doing anything not to say anything nice about me, but he had to. So I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously Tony's funny. You don't play theaters if you're not funny. But I've never seen. I've never watched the set, and he's probably never watched a set of mine. So even the one time I had to follow Tony in the main room, I'm in the back green room waiting, but I wasn't really listening to him. So, well, yeah, I mean, it was pretty funny, and I forgot how Jeff got out of it. He said something like, "Yeah, that was great, but there's been other good entrances too." There haven't. Um, did your mom's house appearance give you a bump? The first time I went on your mom's house was, oh my god, back in the this was back when it was in Red Band's house in Burbank. I don't recall getting a this bump, but and I'm friendly with Segura, but I was told, I asked him beforehand, "Hey, do you want me in character, just talking shit?" So yeah, come on, to Lane and say whatever you want to me. So I called him. It was kind of like that AEW episode where Will Ospreay called Omega fat. And I said something about Tom's body, and I could see him like tweak his head, like, "Hey, motherfucker!" Like he shot me a look, like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh," and I'm saying to myself, "Oh, I thought you wanted me in character. Like I'm just fucking around." Let's just say I haven't been asked to be on the show. I think everyone else from that episode has been on the show again, but me. So I believe I did get a little bump. Uh, from that, and probably the best bumps I get is when Rogan mentions my name. To be honest with you, um, Segura loves the pores. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was really good, or not was I'm was very close with his wife, uh, Christina, but obviously we run in different circuits, so I haven't seen her in quite some time. Um, I think it was during the time when Tom made fun of. Yeah, yeah. I mean that was the whole point of me coming on the podcast. Was I was like Tom was making fun of wrestling, and I was coming on to defend it, and so in character, I forget. I think I got in Tom's face and character, and he was like, "Hey, with that body, I'm surprised you don't like pro wrestling." And he kind of like went like that. Like, oh fuck. But we've talked since, and I don't think there's a problem. True story. My neighbor's wife had a girlfriend who brought her kids over to play with the kids. The visiting boy had a huge forehead for a child. Lance Henriksen was his grandfather. Okay, well, I mean, Lance Henriksen had a big forehead. I have a big forehead. Like, I'm not balding, but I have a big forehead. I've always had this. I mean, maybe a little bit like that. But I would love to go on, like, I mean, that's really podcasts now are the new talk shows. Like, if you asked me, would you rather go on Joe Rogan or do a set on the Tonight Show? I'd rather go Rogan because the Tonight, and I don't get me wrong, I'd love to do the Tonight Show, but I don't think that late night television in terms of stand up means what it used to. And right now podcasts are the big, like if I went on, Rogan, Tim Dillon's, Theo's, Santino, because I can pretty much play with anyone. Like I'm not the funniest comic. I'm not the best writer, but I got a quick mind. So there's nothing that any one of those people could throw at me that I wouldn't have an answer for right away. But on the top podcast, you can't ask to be on. They have to ask you. So, and of course, the story of how I fumbled the ball when Joe asked me to be on the podcast is pretty legendary. But hopefully, there's another chance where I could fly down to Austin and you know have a good time. Uh, I know he hates it, from what I understand, when people ask him. So I think maybe if I did someone else's podcast that like say I did Santino and Bobby Lee's, and I did well on that, and Joe, that would get back to Joe, and then maybe it would. I've done George Perez's podcast, and then me and George Perez recently were on the roast of Popeye from Blood In, Blood Out, and it was very, very fun. I mean, George is one of the greats. What inspired you to start doing stand up? All my friends at the time in the late '90s, yeah, were agents and managers, and they were like, "Dude, you're the funniest person we know. Just start at open mics and shit will help you." When I started in open mics, literally all but one of them quit the business to get into real estate. Those son of a bitches. Yeah, I mean the Corolla show. I started off a little slow just because um, I'd never really interacted with Adam a lot before, so I didn't really know, and I never listened to the show, so I didn't want to obviously interrupt him. It's his show, but he started giving me verbal cues when to talk. Like he would look at me like, okay, like, and not say it, but just his facial expression was talk now. And so I the second half is a lot better than the first half. But yeah, I would think, someone like Joe would hear, hey, Earl just did Corolla. Maybe you should have him on or whatever. But um, you know, I'll be ready. And we'll see what happens. Yes, George is the best. I just saw him last night at the Comedy Store. So It's always a good time. There's a great picture on my Instagram stories right now of me, George, and the great, iconic Brian Holtzman. And we are, we're like the comedy SEAL Team Six. Ever do the Norm Macdonald show with Adam? I did not. I wasn't a big enough guest, to be honest with you, to be on the Norm Macdonald show. Jason Rouse, another one of my LA comedy friends. I see Sting is trending right now. Let me just make sure he's alive. Or it could be Sting, the bass player. Let's click on latest. Okay, he's still alive. Thank God. Um, Jason is a worldwide headliner. Like he'll headline shows in Canada, Norway, Sweden. I'm pretty much stick to America with the select dates in Canada. Yeah, he is a lot. Jason Rouse makes me look normal on stage. I mean, I think some of the stories I do are a little offbeat and wacky, but um, Jason's the real deal. He is a soldier of comedy, as we all are, as Carnazzo is, Dylan. We're all soldiers. So, it's a good group that I surround myself with. How many years did it take you to feel like a decent comic? I mean, probably 10, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, I survived the first 10 years because I had an work ethic and I was very likable. Like everyone loved me. And then I think right around the time I started opening up for Rob Schneider, I felt because I got in front of sold out crowds every single night for 4 years. And it's like Tracy opening up for Tim Dillon, and I won't speak for Tracy, but like for me, I knew the crowd wasn't there to see me. Like even my girlfriend at the time was there to see Rob, that bitch. Just kidding. Um, but uh, I would do pretty well most times. Especially considering that the whole crowd is there to see the other guy. But that put me in front of receptive audiences for 4 straight years. So my confidence grew. So when I would come back to LA and do shows, I felt like, okay, I can do this. And then it probably took me another couple of years till I got passed at the comedy store. And then, maybe even 2 years of being passed at the store before I got the comedy stores, it's a tough room. Like it's the original room, the main room, and the belly room. But like last night, I was in the belly room. I'm sorry, in the main room, and it's 400 people or whatever it is. And like, if you lose the crowd on a joke, you got to really fight to get them back because there's just people everywhere. So it is, it's a skill, and it's a skill to play the smaller room, the original room. It's a little easier to get out back in there because you can pretty much see everyone in the room. Whereas the main room, the lights are so bright that after the first 10 rows, I can't see anyone in the back. So, yeah, Rob's done my show. Rob's been on the Inappropriate Earl podcast. This is kind of different. This is just a stream, I guess. Um, yeah, but Joey's. I mean, I don't know what stories he lies about, but Joey's awesome. I did his podcast, episode 666. Ironically enough, I have done Kill Tony 5 times, I think. 3 as a panelist, 2 as the Iron Patriot. Um, uh, I was not a soldier in the KISS Army. I dodged the draft. Hello. I don't know when I will find a chat that talks about Miami Vice, the 1980s, and 10 millimeters. So I just wanted to say I think the Colt Delta Elite and SW Model 1006 are excellent, 10 millimeter, and the Glock. Uh, Well, this is this is a stream that is about everything and nothing at the same time. Um, I've never dressed up as Kiss for Halloween. Um, so it's a little something for everyone. I mean, here I started this stream tonight and thinking we were gonna see the movie Predator, finish the movie Predator, and now we're not even gonna watch it. We got into wrestling and all that stuff. So, um, that's just how I work. Well, Ray is putting viewers to sleep. Well, I'm not trying to mooch off of Ray or take listeners from Ray. I didn't even know he was going on. Like, I don't pay attention to anyone else. You could tell me Carl was going on right now, Melton, Steel Toe, Kevin, and Chad and Ray. I wouldn't know. Um, yeah, I've never really been into guns. You think it takes most comics around 10 years to get good? Well, I'm saying that's what it took for me to get good. But I was good before then, like when 6 years in, I started writing for the Ian Bagg show, which was a show that should have been the Ian Bagg show was Tosh 2.0 before Tosh. But and writing for Ian was very motivating to me because I look up to him as a comic um, a lot. So I wasn't a bad comic, say 7 years in, but like now I feel like, and now I don't even know how many years I've done comedy. It's been that long. Like I feel I can follow anybody, and there's a lot of funny comics at the Comedy Store who are very tough. Like I had to follow Steph Told one night, and she's just a ball of manic energy. And I'm very dry and slow paced and sarcastic. And you'd think, uh, I would not be able to follow Steph because our energies are so different, but it actually works. Yeah, I like Pat Dixon. I don't really know him too well. I don't know him at all, to be honest with you. But um, he's. I got no. I think he's funny, and he was great on the roast, and I always like him on MLC. Him and Kevin have a good vibe. So yeah, I'm a Pat Dixon fan. Um, no, there's been no sidewalk dumps lately on my street. So, West Hollywood is, yes, the Sting gloves. You can't go wrong with the Sting gloves. And I know it's not the greatest background, but I am working on that. When we move this upstairs, I already have a new computer desk or a computer chair, and we're working on moving see all my voiceover stuff is down here, and that's going to be a pain in the ass to move up there. But um, Leslie Jones was at the Comedy Store last night. I did not run into her. I did not see Jimmy Carr when he was here. Um, would you ever get a cat, Earl? No, I like dogs. Although my dog now, Lois, when she stays with my ex, who we split Lois, she has two cats, and Lois loves the cats. So, I'm not. I don't know. I don't. Cats, cat litter stinks, man. So I'm not a big. Although I did like Gail has one cat named Donnie. I do like Donnie. Donnie was kind of like a dog, but Lois likes eating cat litter, and it's just no, not for me. Which also probably explains why half the time Lois's breath smells like ass. Um, some Asians like dogs a little too much. Hello, pew. I wish I had some sound effects I could play. Let me see. I don't think I could get my stream taken down for this. Hold on. That's what I think of that joke. If anyone says anything Hacky in chat. This is what you're gonna get. Someone say something hacky in chat. Anything. While we're young, dead air on a live stream isn't the best. All right, I'm gonna end this stream right now. Sidewalk Dump FX. Ray is a great comic. I don't get no respect at all. Oh, hold on, that wasn't good. This could be my new thing. You skipped mine. Hold on, Ambrose. I tried to do one and it said, hold on. This is for you, Ambrose. Studjo is funnier than KB. Earl, you got to end with some more jokes. No problem, no problem. Even the fat part sound don't respect me. Here's the last joke I've written. I can't do an exact fart noise after because I got to go on another page. Let me see. This just in. Charlie Sheen is accusing the mother of his children of being a bad mother. Well, you know she must be bad if he says it. Yeah, it actually is pretty funny. I don't know why I didn't do it. I got to work on that Charlie Sheen joke. Hey, take my wife, please. I don't think my stream can get taken down for this. Who knows? Hey, we got 2 more people that just came in. Hey, this is for YouTube people. Sounds like Eric Swalwell. Nothing beats fart noises. Enough. We've already overdone it. Hello. Charlie is back on the road to success once again. Is this bitter shit? Pew, pew, pew. Let me, all right, we're going to do one bitter shit. That Charlie Sheen joke was pretty weak, so let me go to November's jokes. I didn't write that much in November. Hey, Ric Flair's energy drink is out. It's the first energy drink you can stick up your nose. Hello. The Whoopi Goldberg podcast. Get out of town. Next door just laid off 25% of the company. So can you imagine how shitty the post will be on there now? Pew. All right, that's enough. You know the world is fucked when Daryl Harrell flies a restraining order against John Oates. Those concerts just got real awkward. Yeah, I gotta write some more jokes. Wait, what was yours? The fart sounds will get you 50 live viewers next week. Hold on, sorry about that. I'm on another page. Tommy Morris Part 3 episode. We are in discussions, but the problem with Tommy is he doesn't have Wi-Fi or a computer. I think. Well, I might. Let me see what else. Uh, did Tommy leave LA? I think he's in Costa Rica or Honduras, somewhere like that. I'm not sure. I mean, we talk every now and then on Facebook Messenger. All right, I'm logging out of the fart thing. That got old pretty fast. Hey, let's cover some house cleaning here. Until you can come see Earl Skakel live at the Comedy Store or maybe the Stand with Tracy Carnazzo or somewhere else in New York, go on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Earl Skakel, and check out some of the newest reels, the newest shorts I've um, uploaded. They are all jokes from the 45-minute set the Comedy Store made me take down because I was told The set was too long, and it looked like a special that they had nothing to do with. So I'm having to break the set up chunks. That gives you a good idea of what my stand-up comedy abilities are. And I will be. I taped the set last night at the Comedy Store. I will be putting that up on Patreon. I'm afraid to put up anything longer than 3-minute clips on YouTube because I think the Comedy Store will get mad at me. So I will be putting up my set from last night on Patreon. And that's the beauty of following me, is that everything is just at Earl Skakel, EARLSKAKEL, and that's going to be it for a Sunday night stream. I thank you guys. This is seems to be my sweet spot, Sunday nights. Of course, we'll do streams throughout the week. Um, I think Lemmy Cologne is just BO. But thank you guys for listening. Nick, William Zoom, Ross, Ambrose, Night Moose, Peter the Chicken Man, Brennan, Grimace and Pain, Saint Ranger, Beloved Chat, Jose. I mean, you got ADC 150, Spurg Snake. You guys have been good to me. I'm trying to be good to you guys by giving you quality content. Uh, Let me see. Maybe. Sorry, we didn't watch Predator. I guess we'll just abandon that. If you had, you know, I don't know what to tell you, but maybe we'll. Of course, I don't want to step on Carnazzo's toes, but maybe when the new season of Vanderpump Rules comes on, I'll do a watch of that. Uh, Band of the Hand would be a good one. The great Cobra is also a good one. I mean, Band of the Hand with the great Stephen Lang, who I was in the Babe Ruth movie where Stephen Lang played Babe Ruth. We love you too, Jose. I played one of the Yankees, and I got to talk to him about Crime Story in between takes. He was a very nice guy. Yeah, well, there's some more live watches. I mean, we would have finished Predator that night, but I got a call from the Comedy Store to get down there and close out the main room. So I had to, when the Comedy Store calls, I don't ask how high they want me to jump. I just jump. Next time, let's watch Ghetto Gaggers Part 6. That's a good one. 5 was better. Pew! I am a man of the people. I am the people's champ. I'm a soldier of stand-up comedy. And I'm nothing without my small but loyal fan base. And I know some of you have already started messaging the Netflix as a joke festival. Where's Daddy Man? Where's Earl? Some of you have tweeted at Rogan. I cannot condone or support those tweets publicly, but just know I appreciate the thought. Hey, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. Good night, you guys. I love you all. One more for you guys. One more for you guys.